We're always told that to get through life's biggest challenges, you've got to fight harder, right? Just push back with everything you've got. But what if the real path to strength, and yeah, even to what you might call miracles, isn't about fighting at all? What if it's actually about the incredible power of letting go? That's exactly what we're going to dive into today. Seriously, just think about it for a second. Have you ever been stuck in a situation where the more you struggled, the more you fought against it, the more trapped you felt? It's a feeling we all know, and figuring out why that happens, well, that's where we're going to start. Okay, so let's start by looking right at that instinct, that deep down need we all have to just struggle against hardship. I mean, it's a totally natural reaction, but as we're about to see, it might be the one thing that's actually holding us back. And look, we're not talking about some abstract philosophical concept here. We're talking about the real, messy, and often painful stuff that shows up in our lives. Things like a sudden illness, or those really deep disagreements in a marriage. Maybe it's tough issues with your kids, or even those old unresolved conflicts with your own parents. These are the real battlegrounds where that instinct to fight just feels absolutely essential. And this is the emotional price we pay. When you're just constantly pushing against reality, trying to bend it into a shape it just won't take, it really can start to feel like your own personal hell. You know that feeling? Like you're trapped at the bottom of a hole, and you're just exhausting yourself trying to claw your way out, but all you're really doing is digging yourself in deeper. So, that brings us to a really key idea. This whole instinct to fight using our own strength, well, it actually has a name, self-reliance. But here's the thing we're going to see. That power, our power, has a serious limit. And this chart, it lays out the two paths so perfectly. On one side, you've got self-reliance. That's us, trying to solve everything with our own knowledge, our past experiences, our own judgment. And what's the result? It almost always leads to endless suffering. But then, on the other side, you have what's called a surrendering heart. And that's all about quiet acceptance, a kind of trust in something bigger than ourselves. And that, well, that opens the door to a totally different reality. So here's the big takeaway, right? Those miracles, those unexpected breakthroughs we're all hoping for, they're often blocked by our own attempts to control everything. The very act of trying to force a solution with our ego, with our own tiny perspective, is the exact thing that stops a real resolution from ever showing up. Okay, so this is the real turning point. If fighting and struggling doesn't work, then what does? The answer, it turns out, is in developing a heart of quiet acceptance. And trust me, this is a radical, game-changing shift in how you see things. Now, it is so important to get what accept really means here. This is not about giving up. It's not about being a doormat. It means quietly acknowledging what's happening, just seeing the situation for what it is, without slapping a good or bad label on it, and crucially, without fighting it. And this quote is right at the heart of that acceptance. Nothing happens by coincidence. I mean, just think about that. What if the challenges you're facing aren't just random, meaningless attacks? What if they're actually part of a much bigger process? When you start to see life that way, everything changes. Your problem stops being this enemy you have to destroy and becomes more of, well, maybe a lesson, or even a necessary step on your path. And check this out. Here's the immediate and honestly incredible result of that acceptance. The very moment you stop fighting, the moment you just allow things to be as they are, a totally new kind of power starts to bubble up from inside you. It's not that frantic, panicked strength of resistance. It's a deep, calm, resilient strength, the strength of endurance. All right, so we've made the journey from struggle to acceptance. But the next step, it's even deeper. It's about taking that acceptance and leveling it up into an active act of surrender, of really entrusting yourself to something more. This right here is the core instruction. It's all about cultivating a feeling, a deep gut-level sense of letting go and just trusting that there's a larger wisdom at play. You're literally shifting from, I have to solve this, to, I'm going to allow this to be resolved. And when you finally let go of that need to be on guard, that constant scramble to manage and control the outcome, something amazing happens. You're saved. But it happens so naturally, so subtly, you might not even notice the shift until it's already done. The struggle just, well, it dissolves. So the big question is, how do we actually do this, right? How do we put this into practice and actively invite these miracles into our own lives? Well, it turns out there's a surprisingly simple, totally concrete way to do it. It all starts with just 15 minutes a day. That's it. I'm not kidding. Just a short meditation. But here's the key. It's not about thinking harder about your problems. It's about practicing the art of letting them go. And here's how you do it, the actual steps for that practice. Step 1, consciously let go of the need to figure it all out. Just release that busy, calculating mind. Step 2, simply receive whatever is happening in front of you, just as it is. No resistance. And finally, step 3, just pay attention. Notice the shift inside you. Feel for that exact moment when the change, the miracle, starts to happen. And that really brings us to our final thought for today. If these so-called miracles are hidden right behind the things we're fighting against the hardest, what happens when we finally stop fighting? What if that challenge, the very one you're battling right now, is actually the doorway to your next big breakthrough? So I'll leave you with this. Where might your miracle be hiding, just waiting for you to let go?